So if you want, Cherry, if you've got some strategy in mind, let's put one together.
Okay. Let me think. I wish I'd put more thought into that. I don't know. I was gonna tell you which one to use, but I don't. I mean, I'd like to see how. I can't remember which one it is. The one that did the best. I think it's at the very bottom of the sheet that it did 4,000. I think it was 4,000 profit in a week or setting or a session. Um, I can't remember what that was. I don't know. If you look at the indicator list, it's at the very bottom.
Well, there's Ryan's going to have to do that. I think you're talking about something that Ryan does, not something I do.
Yeah,
Let me.
yeah,
Okay.
that's my
Okay.
list. Yeah,
Right.
that's my baby. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So how I want to see how you took that indicator with Nexus and made it a lot better.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so
I think the success rate was
I
like
can,
68% or something like that.
yeah, I think that was like a
Yeah.
66%. We've had a few.
Before we go there, though, Jerry, do you understand the component system?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
so
so, so
the there are kind of two ways of doing it. The way Reg kind of had it built is with components. And that's really where you can get the most benefit out of strategies. Since I do strategy videos every single day, I had to find kind of a quick workaround.
Mhm.
And truth be told, if once you know the components and kind of know what each one do and know how to navigate them, it's probably not really a workaround. But in the initial stages, it was just my way of kind of processing how to build strategies. And so I do mine a tad bit different, probably quite a bit different than the way Reg does them,
Mhm.
or the way Nexus was probably truly built to do it. And so keep that in mind that there's definitely a vast component system that Reg has spent lots and lots of time on to really, significantly dial in strategies versus kind of the quick, workaround that I do. And so, but with that being said, Reg, go ahead.
yeah.
Can I?
So
I'm
that's
sorry. Could I say something real quick?
yeah.
Could you guys please introduce yourselves? I got an idea who I think you are. You don't nothing personal. Just so like I know who you are.
Oh,
It says
absolutely.
Reg, and I just want to make sure I put a face with. I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I'll go first. Reg, as you know, Reg Proctor. I'm a software developer of many, many years, more years than I care to admit to people.
Mm,
Just let's say decades. Um, and I think we just lost him.
Oh, yeah, it looked like it did. Did
Yeah,
it
so
boot
I
him
have to
out?
wait. Yeah, he's probably got a bad connection or something.
Yeah,
So we'll
I
just
forget people
have.
don't know who we are.
Yeah, I know, right? I just paused the recording, so our
okay.
general chit chat wasn't in there. Um, so I've got too many years of being a software developer, and somewhere down the line, I kind of got interested in trading.
Mm,
And so, being a software developer, instead of going out and learning immediately how to trade, my first thought was, well, let's automate the process because I've spent a lot of time in automation when it comes to software. And it's kind of what I enjoy.
mm,
So I started looking into how to do that and learned about TradingView and started learning how it works. And when I first started it, honestly, it probably wasn't good enough. In fact, it wasn't good enough to actually do all this. And so as they've been making PineScript better, which is
right.
the TradingView software, I've been upgrading the system. And eventually I took something that was very old and crappy because I started when their system was pretty old and crappy and just rebuilt the whole thing from scratch. And that
Mm,
was a few months ago. And because I was able to use all the latest and greatest, and I knew it really well, and I understood trading better, and I was able to write something really good and something that I felt was good enough to show everybody else. And then I wasn't sure what to do with it, except along the way, I met Ryan, and Ryan will obviously introduce himself. Um, and I've kind of just come up with an idea with Ryan, over the last week or two. We've kind of been discussing back and forth what we want to do with other people in this system. And so, yeah, a software developer many years, decades, like I said, took a an interest in trading, became almost obsessed with automating it,
Mm,
right? And Ryan and I eventually hooked up, and because he's got this vast repertoire of systems,
mm,
and we can try them all on this and see how they perform with an automated system, which is a little different to a person. But the nice thing is that Ryan has had a similar thought that I did. He wanted something that worked very strictly by rules and not so much with intuition, which made us work very well together. And so we've been going down this path over the last year and a half together or so. And I think that's over to you. Right.
mhm,
Yeah. So my name's Ryan. I am also known as DP Roberts. Quite a few years back, well, I mean, I guess I started my journey one day when my older brother just kind of popped up one day and said, "Hey, have you ever heard of these penny stocks?" And I was like,
mm,
what?" And he's like,
mm,
"Penny stocks." And I'm just like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I vaguely know what a stock is, but other than that, I have not a clue. And so he proceeded to kind of, tell me what penny stocks were and, said, yeah, you could throw just a couple $100 on a broker and, just, trade these stocks. And, if
mhm,
they, move just, a couple micro cents, like you can make hundreds and hundreds of dollars.
mhm,
And then, kind of my obsession started from there. Of course, penny stocks didn't work out too well. And, I just, kind of bounced from one thing to another, to another, to another. And ultimately, became fascinated with just understanding indicators in general and understanding kind of what indicators work and what indicators don't. And that, kind of started my journey into testing indicators and strategies. And at some point, dawned on me through communities and stuff like that that if I was interested in figuring out what indicators work and what strategies work, then there are probably other people like me who also want to know what indicators and strategy work. And so I said, hey, like, let me just kind of start a vlog and document this on YouTube and just start testing my way through indicators. Again, I was
mm,
just, it's no real rhyme or reason in the beginning. I mean, I guess there was rhyme or reason, but not great organization. And truth be told, it was just me more or less testing for myself and letting other people, just kind of view what was happening. And things started to evolve from there. It got to the point to where I tested so many indicators that people started going, "Hey, do you have a list of these indicators?" And then I'm like, well, yeah, I mean, I do, but at this point, I've put in, years of testing every single day. Like, I feel like my time is worth something. And so I started a Patreon channel and was like, hey, here are a couple bucks, I'll give you a little list. And then it just kind of snowballed from there, like just listening to the feedback from people on my channel, asking for this, asking for that, asking to do things, one way or another way. Some things aren't very logical, other things are. And so I just slowly adapted, over time. And yeah, just, I probably have an unhealthy fascination with testing indicators and
mm,
strategies. Just something about it. Something about it's comforting to me, something about it's uh really fascinating when you find something that works or something that doesn't. You want to know why, and so on. And so and then yeah, one day Reg popped up, and I think he was in my Discord and had taken the original list of the indicators that I had tested and he had organized them and put them into a spreadsheet for me. Because again, in the beginning days, I didn't really think ahead. It wasn't really like, well thought out plan. I was just
Right.
throwing them into a Word document, and because that's just what was easy for me. And then, by the time I realized, like, by the time someone said, "Hey, do you have this in spreadsheet form?" I think I was hundreds of indicators in, and I was
Mm.
just like, I guess spreadsheet probably would have been the better way to go, but I don't. And so, um, and not being horribly um, savvy in Excel sheets, I was just kind of like, maybe one day I'll pay someone, I don't know, 20, $30 to transfer it all over into a spreadsheet. But then one day Reg just popped up and was like, "Hey, I did this for you. Do you want it?" And I was just like, "Hey, that is awesome. Yes, I absolutely do." And then I learned from my mistake and very quickly, whenever I started doing the strategy testing, started tracking those in a spreadsheet. I think whenever I originally started doing the strategy testing, I don't think I was testing it or tracking it in a spreadsheet. And after people started showing the interest in being able to better utilize it in spreadsheet form, I was like, oh, okay. And so I transferred everything that I had at that moment over into a spreadsheet. I think I might have paid someone to do it for me. And so, but yeah, that's and then, like Reg said, we both kind of met with kind of the same energy and the same passion and the same ultimate goal, which was, we want to be profitable. We want to find profitable strategies. We want to, find profitable indicators. Um, but we know the limitations of, what can happen, right? It's like, do we want to be profitable traders if it requires us to, watch a chart 24 hours a day? It's like that's not realistic, And so that's where I think both of us started, kind of coming to the same conclusion that was like, hey, automation is probably the key way to go. But when it becomes an automated strategy, it has to be very mechanized.
Mm.
And when you when you set something in stone like that, um, it has a tendency to um, kind of ruin strategies. And that's because
Mm.
there's just this human bias, this human aspect to people's strategies
Hmm.
that even if it's unconscious or not in the forethought of their mind, there's just this element of the human aspect that goes into people's trading
Hmm.
that is extremely hard to put into mechanized rules. And so, and vice versa.
Not only because it's just want to add in there, it's not so much because it's hard to write the rules to do it. It's because people don't know all the rules they're using, right?
Right. Right.
Right. It's the intuition. They have this huge, vast knowledge of maybe staring at charts for hours and for years, hours a day for years. And they just have this vast knowledge where they just know to do things in certain ways, but they don't know the rules they have behind that.
Right.
And so you can't automate something if you can't put it in words, and that's where the real problem comes in. Sorry, I
Yeah.
didn't mean
Mm.
to interrupt. Go
No,
ahead.
no, you're fine. Yeah, I mean, that's absolutely correct. And that's something that I've ran into myself, with my own strategy itself and my own indicator, is the thing that I've struggled with for many years now is that, whenever I test it, whenever I use it, it works. When I give other people the rules and tell them trade it in this very specific way, it fails. And that's just
Mm.
because there's a certain human element, a rhythm that you get into that you just don't even realize that's happening. And until you put or even try to put a very clear, defined set of rules to your strategy. Like, if you ask someone, that has a strategy, like, I want you to give me a clear, defined set of rules for every single thing you do for the strategy. Often they'll go, oh, yeah, that's no problem. And then when you actually start to do it, it becomes a problem because you don't realize until you actually start to put those rules on paper and actually start to put them through a system. All of a sudden, it's like this isn't, it isn't operating the same. And it's like,
Right.
oh yeah, I didn't account for this. You didn't account for the human element that's involved in it. And so there's kind of this separate world that exists within strategies and indicators. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's hard, but it's definitely unique in the way strategies and indicators act differently when there's a human element and you remove that human element. And so, but yeah, so I'll stop rambling on now. That's me. That's where I came from. That's why I've
Yeah.
been, testing indicators and strategies every single day for like 5 years.
Wow.
So,
That's
so, so,
interesting.
J- yeah, oh, yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt there. You want to give any thoughts on that, Jerry, or do you want us to just move on to the next thing?
No, I think that's very insightful. I mean, it's funny what I thought. I mean, I don't know how much time you guys got, but there's a very famous golfer named, I think it was Lee Trevino. He's just a natural golfer, and did well. One day they asked him, they said, "Can you write this down? How you do that?" Then he started thinking about what he was doing, and he couldn't do it. So,
Hmm.
so it's
Yep.
kind of like what you're saying. When you put a pencil to it, it's a lot harder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah. That is absolutely correct. And so,
Mm,
yep, that's me. That's who I am. That's how I started running the YouTube channel. And then, like I said, met up with Reg eventually, and we both had similar ideas, similar interests
mm,
and goals. Reg set out to build, this beast of a machine that's called Nexus,
mm-hmm.
and took him lots and lots and lots of time to do it. And then at that point, we needed to kind of decide, like, what do we ultimately want to do with it? I mean,
Right.
Yeah.
obviously, finding indicators, finding strategies, building things, being a profitable trader with it, stuff like that, that's great. But we also, always wondered, is the general public, is it something they would be interested in? And,
Right.
so on. And so that's where we started dabbling in the idea of, maybe we should just see if, some people are interested and
Sure.
we can give them access. We can let them play around. We can, bounce ideas off of them, let them kind of stress test it, find any,
Right.
weak spots, excuse me, that maybe we weren't able to find. And then ultimately, see if people are interested. If they're not, then that's fine also. It's like may not be for everybody. And, it's kind of we're in that middle ground at the moment. Not really
Right.
sure what we want to do with it, but
We're, we're
willing
we're
to
feeling our way through it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, willing to,
Absolutely.
throw it at people and give them a shot. So
Mm.
So
Well,
so let me sorry, go on.
no, no. Go ahead. Nothing. I have nothing important.
So what I want to do here is I'm going to show you quickly how what the component system is for by building something really quick. So I'm
Okay.
assuming you can see this screen share.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'm going to throw up a couple of basic things. Let's not expect this to be profitable. I'm not trying for that. We'll throw an EMA on there, um, throw an SMA or an SMMA. So we got a couple of moving averages, and we'll do the old moving average cross. I'll make these a little bit longer just for the fun of it. Let's make that maybe 20. Same with the other one. So they're not so fast. Okay, so we want to do an entry when these things cross. So this is where the component system comes in because now we've gone from signals to rules, right? And the component system is all about being able to apply rules to your signals. So in this case, the rule is we want to enter when one of these goes above or below the other. So I know it off by heart, but if you didn't know off by heart what to do, what you do is you go over here and you start reading through the list, right? And you start to find something that would say, oh, that sounds like it would do it. And then you just try it.
Mm,
So in this case, what we're looking for is something to do with relationships between signals. So
mm-hmm.
price relation will do it. So I'm going to grab that one. And helps if I click on the right thing. I'm just going to type in relation. I know it'll come up. So I'm going to grab one of those.
Those are.
Now,
I'm sorry, Reg. Those are trading view indicators you're looking at.
yeah, these are trading view indicators that you have
Right.
access through the
Trading
because I
view.
make through the what do you call it? Invite only section.
I see.
Right?
Right. Yeah.
Anything from coulombs, if you want to know, I got that. I hate putting numbers and things or weird words, or not weird
Uh
words, but after my name. So I found some Greek god
huh.
and took a letter out of it, and that's where that name came from. So
Okay.
they're just trying to find some way of coming up with a name. But anything from coulombs is or koalones or however you
I
say
see.
it,
Right.
is from me. So you'll have it in there. And so now what you do is you got to source these two things. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to grab the MA, and on the other one, I'm going to grab the SMMA, and I'm going to say I'm going to use those two things. And now we have several things to do with the relationship. We can say when one's above the other. So if I turn this on, it should come up and show, okay, at this point, one's above the other one, and you can see where it is and where it isn't. I could do the same for below. But in this case, it's not whether it's above or below that I care about. What I care about is when it crosses up or crosses down. So that's a transition. So now you can see little arrows showing you when they cross up and cross down.
Mm-hmm.
The truth is we don't actually need the arrows. I'll just leave them on there for show. But once we've got the ability to get a signal from that relationship, we can then just use that signal. So now I can go into Nexus and I can say use I'll explain what export is all about later. But in my indicators, in fact, I think all of them now, all of the components, they have an export as well as a normal output.
Mm.
The idea of using the export is the signal will always be there, even if the user turns it off. Well, in fact, these are not seen by the user, but they're always there. That's the idea. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to use a cross up. I actually don't know which is the right way. I forgot which one I put on which, so we'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Um, and it'll take a little while, and it'll say, "Hey, you actually got a slight loss down here. You got a little bit of a profit. That's because TradingView. I run my results through TradingView as well, but it will give slightly different values than my own calculations, and that's because unless I hate to use a I don't know, a term I learned in math or something recently, um, but I don't know a better way of saying it. I don't use their strategy tester as the arbiter of truth.
Right.
So it's only as an output. And because I'm not using it as the arbiter of truth, I can't quite get it to do the signals exactly as I calculate them for myself.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right.
But the problem is if I allow it to be the arbiter of truth, then I can't do things like take uh, what's it called, spread into account because it just doesn't
Mm-hmm.
have that built into it.
Right.
Now mine doesn't have spread turned on by default because I don't want to put spread in there and then, you know, someone's trying to do futures and they're wondering why they're not profitable, but there isn't any spread in futures, right? So
Right.
it's turned off by default, but it's the ability to add it in is there. And then we turn that on, that's probably going to go way down because we're on a 15-second time frame. There's not a lot of movement in 15 seconds. Right. So now you can see there's a huge loss, right? Now, if
Right.
we bump it up, I think something like that, maybe we'll make money, maybe we'll lose money. Oh, look at that, back to a little bit of money. So, so that's basically the components in a nutshell. It's just a way of taking what you want to do, take the rules that you think of, instead of you having to go out and figure out how to program it, and you can just use these components to apply the rules that you want to create your strategy. That's entirely what they're there for. And I use the word glue. They're the glue that tie your signals
Mm-hmm.
to Nexus. Now, one thing that we didn't do is we didn't put a bunch of extra stuff into Nexus. Like we're not giving it exit signals, right? It's
Right.
exiting by itself. And that's just so that people getting started have something, right? I mean, people might not want to exit the way Nexus exits,
Right.
but it automatically just has a take profit point and a what's the other word for it? A stop loss
Right.
built in, and they're just on by default so that you can just put a signal in and you're making money or losing, whatever. But right, you're getting results. I guess
Hmm.
is the right way to put it. Um, but you can turn these off and get far, far more complicated, right? You can say, I only want it to take my signals because it's very important that my signals are there. You can say, I don't want this to happen unless that also happens and that happens. But if that third thing happens, I want all this to be null and void. So, we don't actually enter if that other thing happens. You have the ability to get very complicated in your rule set.
Hmm. I was going to
Um,
ask. I did have a question.
sure.
Um, so let's say, for example, like these two EMA and SMA, those two lines. I know a lot of times with EMA, you want the price to be above the line or say above the signal. Can you
Mhm.
make that another
Well, let's do it.
criteria? Yeah.
That's exactly why we're here is we want to be interactive like that. So
Hmm.
what you're doing here is, let's say we're going to do it with the EMA, right?
Right.
So we have more, see how it says times four?
Right.
That means we have four possible rules we can set up for
Uh,
relationships. So we're just going to use a second channel two for our rules. So what you're doing is you're comparing close, or maybe high and low, right? Do you want it above or below?
I
Well,
would, well,
we're going
like,
long, so let's say
going
below.
along, I would say the price has to be above the EMA, the shorter EMA, or it's above the cross, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, so let's just say it has to be so that means we want the low of the candle to be above the EMA. Does that make
Right.
sense?
Yes, sir. That's it. Perfect.
So we say we're going to use those. The reason I have these to be able to check these is just because it just internally you can turn stuff off if you want.
Right.
So now we got an EMA, we got a low, and then we can test that we're doing things right. So we can just look at that and say, well, we want it below. So we want I think let's see, what is it? A below B, A above B. I can't remember which way it works. So we just turn
Mm.
one on. There, the signal is above. So we want it when it's above, correct?
I mean, that's what I think it runs usually for a positive trade, but I'm
Yeah.
definitely not.
No, I know that's exactly right. Well, it's what we want. I mean, if it ends up
Right.
not being true because common wisdom is not wisdom, well, that's a different matter, right?
Hmm. Right.
Right, so we can do this one of two ways. We can use a component to combine those signals, but because this is actually a fairly simple, it's only two rules, we can actually do
Right.
this all within Nexus. So I'm going to show you both ways. Here's how I do
Okay.
it if I just wanted to use Nexus. I would go down to, well, I've got to find it now. Initial stop events. Okay, stop events. So we're going to stop an entry when that second one, so you see that's what the two is for,
Right.
is not above. So we'll say it's below, right? So
Right.
if it's below, we want to stop the entry. I
Right.
think that
Yeah.
would that would be correct. And then I have to say use it. And so that should do exactly what we want. There should be no entries now, and these numbers should change. And the numbers changed, and so now we've added that rule in.
Mm. And
Now,
Reg, I'm sorry, each time you do a rule, you have to go to a different channel. So you had the first setup, and then we added the candle above. That's the second channel.
yeah, we're just using different things. Yeah, I call them channels. You could call them
Hmm.
anything you want. You could just call
Okay.
them rules A, B, C, D. Just
Right.
channels are just an arbitrary rule for it. Yeah, right. But we have four rules in one
I see.
indicator that we put
Wow.
together. Yeah. But you can put more than one on there. Like if you use all four up, which I have done many times, you just add
Hmm.
another one on, right? And
Hmm.
you have eight rules. So Now, the next thing is, let's suppose we wanted to go beyond that. Let's suppose we wanted to get more complicated. So I'm going to show you how to do this without actually doing this in taking this straight to Nexus. So now we're not using that in Nexus. We're going to use a third component, probably the most used component there is, and it's simply called and or.
Indoor.
And it's exactly what you think. And it's sometimes hard to talk about this. I think we need extra words in English language here because it does exactly that. It allows you to and rules together or rules together. So I had a bit of a long
Right.
pause there, though it makes no sense. And I'm just going to turn this thing off because it drives me crazy. This long thing that they've done recently.
Hmm.
It's going to turn all those little zeros off, hopefully. No? And I guess it was on this one. Value. There we go. Oh, thank you. I can't stand that. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take those two rules and we're going to pull them into this thing. So this thing, the first rule, were we doing cross up or cross down? I can't remember anymore.
I think it was cross up.
Okay, yeah, it makes sense. If not, it doesn't matter. We'll just get different numbers. We're not trying to be profitable here. We're just trying to show how it all works. So, and then the next one is it had to be the number two was above. That's number
Uh,
two
the
or
price
below.
had to be above to be active or good trade. It had to be above. The candle had to close, I believe, above. No, yeah, it had to
The
close
low of the
above.
candle had to be above yeah, I think it was above anyway. If not,
Yeah.
we'll just do different numbers, so it doesn't matter.
Okay.
So now what we've done is we pulled the two rules in that we want, hopefully. If not, we'll just get
Hmm.
different numbers. Now the next thing we have to do is we have to what we're looking for is this has to be above something and right, we have to get that
Hmm.
signal, correct?
Right.
So this is a rule. The rule we're going to use is and. So we're going to change that from or to and.
Mm.
And we pulled in these things on number ones and two, right? These are inputs, one and two.
Right. Right.
So we're just going to say we want one and two to be true. It's that easy,
Wow.
right?
That's
Right? We
pretty
just want one and
easy.
two to be true, right?
Right.
I used to do this in programming all the time, and it was driving me crazy that every time I want to
Mm.
try a new strategy, I had to write all this out. It takes a long time to write this stuff, right? So it's a bit faster now that AI has come along, which Ryan's going to show
Right.
you. That'll be the next thing. He's going to show you another way.
So
But
so when that happens, you get a buy signal.
well, we get a signal that we can call buy or sell,
Oh,
right?
I see. Yeah. Right.
So now we're going to go in the Nexus, and right now we're pulling in price relation from cross up.
Right.
Oh, did we didn't use cross, did we? Hang on. We got to go back here and use a cross. Right.
Hmm.
Oh, it is cross up. Okay, we did use a cross. Okay. See how bad my memory is? Told you I'm getting old.
Hmm.
Okay, so now we can just go in here and we're going to use the output of we used number one. Again, that's arbitrary. We can call it
Right. Right.
channel, we can just call it one, we can call it ABC, it doesn't matter, it's just arbitrary. So we're going to use the output from one, which now has those two rules ANDed together.
Yeah. It's like perfect.
Well, I don't know, it might still be, is it still, no, it's done it already. Cool. So yeah, it's done. So we guess we did choose the right rules because I didn't see the numbers change. So yeah, that's pretty much the two ways you can do it. Now you can probably already guess in your mind this and or thing. Um, that is what makes this so powerful because now you can just keep piling rules upon rules upon rules, right? Um, and you can just say, I want this and I want this and I want this, and you just keep adding them up. Now there are limitations because TradingView will say, hey, you put too many things together and then you got to find a way of dealing with it. But
Right. Right.
you can do a lot before you hit that. And if you
Oh,
ever get there and you got something you really want to do, I can help you with that. We can work it out. So
okay.
now there are dozens and dozens of rules. Another thing that you might want to do is you might say, I want something to happen, and I'm not going to actually put this, I'm just going to show you probably one of my favorite um, components is the Cascade one, right? What's it called? Signal Cascade or something? I know it's got the word Cascade in it, so I'll just pull it up. Cascading signal processing. This is probably my favorite,
Mm,
although Andor is going to be a lot more used because what you can do with this, and this was inspired by Ryan, by the way. It was actually for his indicator.
mm,
Um, what it does is it allows you to say exactly like the Andor, right? You pull in a couple of things. So maybe I'll pull in the same two things. We'll pull in say cross up, and we'll pull in, although I couldn't imagine why you do it this way, but just for the sake of it. And say above. So what you can do is you can say, okay, I got two signals, and the first one is here and the second one is there. And so now what you're saying is I require signal A or signal B to happen after signal B by some number of candles.
mm.
So maybe I may, oops, my caps lock's not there you go. So I can say I want that to go from 2 to 5 candles. That means I don't want it to happen at the same time. I want to wait 2 candles and then I want this thing to happen up to 5 candles. And if it doesn't, then start all over again. That's a very powerful ability, right? Because sometimes you
Absolutely.
don't want yeah, you get the idea, right? So that's
Yeah.
my favorite
It's like
indicator.
it's like a additional confirmation.
Yeah, exactly. It works really good probably on reversals, the types where, often right at the point of reversing isn't what you want to see. You want to get a reversal and then you want to just wait a couple of candles to get a
It
validation.
makes right.
Yeah, that's the sort of thing you might want to use that for. And it's got down here, you see there's some instructions down here that's kind of showing you, kind of tells you a little bit more about it. I started using these things on more and more things.
Mm,
Um, so that's probably as much as you probably want to see
right.
without
That's
playing with it for yourself, right? I'm hoping that
right.
that's enough for you to go, okay, let me try something, right? Let me
Right.
try and put a
Right.
thing together on my own. And let me tell you, just before I hand it over to Ryan, because I'm almost at the end of everything I care about. Let me tell you my goal here, and I don't know how well this is going to work, right? And I'm hoping you're just the first of many.
Mm,
Right. My goal here is that we all want to make money, right? We
right.
we all
Right.
want, right? And I kind of enjoy trading. I think it's fun. So what we've started doing is I have some close friends. Ryan, I now consider a close friend, even though I've only known him for a year and a half. We've
Mhm.
worked so closely together, it might as well be. Um, and I've got a couple of other friends that I've added into this mix. Kiva is actually my a very good friend of mine, his wife, who's now become a good friend.
Mm.
And another guy who's kind of hasn't got on here yet, but I have a feeling he's going to be on here soon. What we've done is we've put strategies together that we think are going to be winners, or
Yeah,
we don't even.
that was my
So,
next question at the end. Okay, guys, what do you use?
okay, so let me show you what we're doing here, right? And this is a fairly small list because we've only really started. We just started making this available just as we were kind of finishing it up. It wasn't
Right.
even really close to finished. Uh, Understanding that software is never finished, right? Software is always evolving, but at some
Sure.
point you got to say, even if I'm adding a thing here and there, it's more or less done, and we're at that point now. So what we're doing at the FT, you see they're all prefixed with FT. We call that forward testing.
Mm,
That's the very next stage, the very last stage. Well, second last stage. What we're doing is we're all building strategies and then we're contributing to a list. And I've actually got a list here. I'll show you the whole thing. So if I go down here, these are all the ones that you saw on the spreadsheet.
mm.
And I go, okay, let's open these up and have a look. Oh, I already had it open. Oh, well, close this one. And it'll take a little while for them all to come together. And Nexus is big and slow and cumbersome because it does a lot. So you got to give it a little bit of time,
Hmm.
especially when you start adding other things that are big and slow and cumbersome. Like you can see this one is currently losing. So maybe that's not one we want to use. In fact, a few of these are mostly like that. This one may still be a winner. It's only got 39 trades. So we'll see how it goes with a little bit of time. And then we get to some towards the end here that we start looking at, okay, that one's got a little bit of money in it. That one's looking pretty nice. That one's looking really nice. And that one's looking really nice. So we've got a few here that are looks like they're pretty good winners. And now, just so you see, I want to show you kind of what this looks like before, why it's got the word FT on it as forward testing. And you can see I've even put FT in the name up here, right? I'm assuming you're used to layouts in TradingView.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'm going to go down here to, we have a thing here called a test window, right? And so if I flip back to this sheet, you'll see we have a date here where we say this forward testing started. So you see all these different dates here and times. Some of
I
them I
do.
bothered put some of them we bothered put time on, some we didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that exact date and time is going to be here. That's the start date, end, and time. And so what we're saying is we started this strategy on this date, and what we're doing is we're removing all the back data from the strategy. So you're only seeing live testing data,
Mm.
right? Now I can turn this off and you can see what the strategy looks like before the live testing data. And see, this has only got 5 trades and it's mostly losers. So maybe we're just in a bad run. Don't know. Or maybe it is really a losing trade, a system. But so you can see how this one tends to work. It tends to have a few losers. Then it has like really big winners. And then it
Mm-hmm.
starts to go down and lose, and they'll have another big winner. So this might actually be a winning strategy, but it just hasn't got enough trades in yet to see it, right?
Right.
Because it's going through a bunch of losers and it'll have a big winner. And so maybe this is a winning strategy. We don't know yet. But the idea is that once we have something we want to test, we put to the group, we set it up, we put it in the spreadsheet, we put the details in the spreadsheet, we put the start date, which removes all the back data, and then we just sit and watch it and we see if it's going to be profitable. And once we have ones that start to look like they're profitable, then we go to the very last stage, and that is we turn on the automation for it, which I'm just in the process of testing, right? We're just about to have the automation working very soon, which will just be automation signals going out through the alerts out to
Mm.
whatever you want. And I have a template system. If you go down to the bottom of Nexus, so go all the way down here to the bottom. See, these are um, blocked out.
Mm-hmm.
That's because they're not, it's not ready to be used yet, right? I still got it testing and stuff to do on it. And also, my original thoughts was if someone really does want to use it to be profitable in terms of automated trading, maybe I should actually charge for that. I don't know yet. I haven't
I would
decided.
I would say automated trading definitely. You
Right. So
should
you don't
charge
actually,
for it.
so you don't feel that that's a bad that's asking too much, you know. Well, the other side of it, if people are contributing, we're all part of a team
Right.
and we're all contributing our systems to each other,
Mhm.
then maybe not, right? So
Or maybe it could be somehow set up like they get a percentage of how you do. So if it really works and does what you think it'll do, then you get a percentage of what we make. I think that's the fairest way to do it.
yeah, I mean, I'm still open. I appreciate your thoughts on that, and maybe that's the
Hmm.
way to go. But you can do the automation yourself, so you know,
Right.
right? And the percentage could also be just the fact that, hey, you've contributed to the spreadsheet, right?
Right.
And so
Right.
I can use your system anyway. You can use my system.
I see.
So that might actually, so that might be just as good or better for everybody.
Right.
So my goal is I don't know how my friends would feel about people they don't know because these are all people I've known for a long time.
Right.
But what I'm thinking is setting up another sheet for you, Jerry, and anyone else who wants to come on, and we can contribute to that sheet,
Right.
and you could be part of us all making each
Um,
other stronger. How does that sound to you? That's been my idea in the
yeah,
last week.
I think that's a great idea. I mean, that's how you learn and make things better working together. I mean,
Yeah. And then when you want, and because you're contributing, you might make a strategy that's really profitable.
right.
where that goes is that gives me the incentive that when you say, hey, what component do I use for this? How do I make this happen? I'm happy to jump on a, either a Zoom call or maybe I'll try, Discord call or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we can just work through together until you're proficient. Like Kiva never even did trading before. In like a month, she was using
Wow.
this system. She doesn't program, and she was
Mm.
using this system within a month from not even being a trader.
Wow.
So if she can do it, anyone who's already trading can do it, right?
Right. And also, if you think about it, I mean, Utah and your little group of friends testing, imagine you have 1,000 or 100 other people testing. You know what I mean?
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely.
if somebody will
Yeah.
find something good.
Yeah. One of
That's
the
neat.
ideas was someone who had time was thinking of going back through Ryan's strategies and just kind of putting them through the system, automate them, put them into this and seeing which ones actually perform in this thing. Because he's got hundreds, right?
Right,
Hundreds of
right.
strategies. It'd be really interesting to just start putting them all on this and seeing how they, which ones go, hey, that one's working. That would
Right,
be
right.
awesome, right? So that's that's an option as well. So that's probably all I have. What I really want to do, just to give some closing statement here, is if you're interested and you like it, I will work with you until you're up to speed on it with this component system. And uh, you just be part of a group and we'll just kind of build the group as time goes on. And
Wow.
hopefully we'll all benefit from it, right? That's my ultimate goal with this. And
Right,
if you
right.
go on Discord and once you get good at it, if you can kind of just tell other people, hey man, I started using this, this is great. That'll help
Sure.
get some testimony going because no point in me saying it, I built it,
Right,
right?
right.
We could just get people to kind of become part of the fold and
Wow.
build a strong system for everybody.
It's amazing that, I mean, that's so refreshing to hear you say that. I mean, so there's trying to get every dime out of everybody you can, you're really trying to do something.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't build this initially to make money from other people. I built it for myself. That was the original thing.
Right,
And I originally contacted Ryan because he'd been doing all these strategies and I didn't have that experience because
right, right.
I spent all my time building the software, not the strategies. He spent all his
Mm.
time building the strategies. What a great team, right?
Right. Perfect match.
Perfect match, exactly.
Wow.
So, but now we want to get more people in because, even though he's building a lot of strategies, he's been taking a lot of other people's strategies. And I think it's time for us to get people building their own strategies, although him and I
Right.
are building our own strategies now. So,
Wow.
um, you know, but if we I think just build up a community. That's what I think we want to do.
I think that's neat because also, I mean, doing that, building your own strategy, that's what Nexus is really built for, right?
Absolutely.
Do
I
what
got
you
tired
think.
of writing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got
That sounds
tired of every time I had a new idea for a strategy, it would take a month and a half, the whole
right.
turnaround. Right. And
Wow.
that was an average one. Some long ones took, over 2 months. Because I was writing software all the time. Even if it was
Right.
Ryan's idea or my idea, it always came down to me to writing a whole bunch of shit. And I just got tired
Wow.
of it, right?
Sure.
And so this component system takes that burden off of me. Now you still have to do some small stuff here and there, like you find an indicator on TradingView and it doesn't quite output the signal you want, so you need to tweak it a little bit. But
Right.
AI kind of fills in that gap, as Ryan's probably going to tell you, right?
Right.
He's really good at it now. And I can always help with that because whatever AI can't help him with, he knows I can always jump in and do it,
Mm-hmm.
right? So between all those mechanisms, you've got a complete system.
Wow. I can't wait to get started. I hate that I'm gonna have to go to bed pretty soon. I wish I could just stay up all night and work on it.
So I was going to
It
ask you, where are you,
um,
Jerry?
I'm in Stanford, Kentucky.
Kentucky. Got it.
Yeah, Stanford, Kentucky. I had a beautiful farm for a long time. Then I had my stroke. I went in a coma.
Oh,
During that
wow.
time, my family is. I mean, I was actually a social worker for 30 years. That's what I did for a living. But
Wow.
my but I did real estate and a farm on the side, and that was my whole. I just loved it. And my family's well, they were right. I wasn't going to be able to take care of the farm anymore. So when I came out of the coma, I finally got to go home. everything was gone. They
Oh,
sold everything. Had to get used to living in town again, you know.
oh no.
Yeah, I teased him. I said, "Yeah, you always want me to sell the farm. Now you had your chance, you know." But but yeah, I'm in
Uh,
Stanford, Kentucky, and like I said, I don't work. I can't drive, so I mean, I'm gonna have a lot of time available to put into
wow.
this, and
That's pretty awesome, Jerry.
yeah,
You might be a perfect another person.
I'll
Kiva was
def
putting a lot of time into it, and then she got a job, so she's not there as
uh
much anymore.
well, there's no chance of me doing that. So
Oh, this is
but
awesome.
anyway, that's awesome. I mean, I can't wait. And you seem very approachable. You know, I feel very comfortable, even though I don't know anywhere near what you do. But as far as being approachable, like I feel like I could ask you anything.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, we can get on calls together and
Right, right.
build up a thing. I'm going to hand you over to Ryan because I don't
Okay.
have anything left. I've kind of said everything there is to say, and since it's getting close to your time to get some sleep, best I and Ryan's an early riser too, so I should
Uh,
not keep this going. So I'm going to stop my screen share and let it go over to Ryan.
well, thank you so much.
More than welcome.
Yeah, I'm in Indiana.
Indiana. Oh, I'm sorry to
Yep,
hear
right
that.
above you. I know, right?
How about that?
Yeah.
How about that football team though?
Yeah, yeah, I know, right?
I
I
mean,
don't watch a lot of sports, so
uh-huh.
I don't track them closely, but
Right.
I'm in Bloomington, Indiana. So
Bloomington, sure.
IU. Yeah, yeah, IU, that's where I'm at.
I live
Um,
between Louisville and Lexington.
oh nice. Yeah, yeah, not too
Yeah.
far away. Not too far away at all. Let me see if I can't share. Oh, I always forget, not application. We want to share entire screen. Okay. Let's do that there. Okay. Let me give you just kind of a quick and dirty method. So, again, you will get far better results if you are trying to build a complex strategy by using
Mm,
the components like Reg has shown you.
right.
Um, uh, I have to kind of turn and burn strategies so fast because I test one every single day. And I have a normal day job, and so,
Right.
I come home and I, need to, test a strategy and play around with some stuff. And so, I kind of found, like I said, the little bit of a quicker way to do things. And that's mainly due to the fact that excuse me, goodness, I just got the hiccups out of nowhere.
Hmm.
Uh, that's mainly due to the fact that a lot of the strategy videos that I run across really aren't that complicated. A lot of them follow the same kind of basic footprint. And so, first and foremost, what I did was I just built myself a blank layout. Um, I'm actually on it right now, which I probably saved this stuff to, which I probably shouldn't have done. Let's see, make a copy, and I'll just keep that as a copy right now. So no big deal. Let me unplug
2.6, that's a nice risk to reward.
this here, like so. Unplug, unplug, and drop that out and just give Nexus a moment to catch its breath here. Okay, so I have a blank layout here, and this is where I start all my strategies from. I have it saved as a template up here. And so basically, I can go to open my layouts and go to blank layout, click on it, and it pops up with um, just a bare bones setup. It has Nexus, the most up to date Nexus. That Nexus has some settings that are kind of important if you're going to get accurate results from it, like making sure use spreads is checked, and a few odds and ends. I think most of these have been gone through by Reg in the series of updates that we went through since the very first launch of this particular Nexus system. But we have it pretty dialed in at this point as far as those small little default settings that need to be checked. And then I have a indicator that I created for kind of my own kind of I wouldn't say it's my own exit strategy, but it's a strategy and exit strategy that is very commonly used in the strategy videos that I run across, which is basically to use the last swing point as an exit, right? And so, for
Right.
example, if you were to enter into a short trade, say right here, you would want your stop at the last swing high right here
Right.
and target whatever, right? And to do this, I had to write a specific indicator and attach it to these two price latches here, the price latch A and B.
Those are
And
components, by the way,
yeah, those are
Jerry.
components. The
Mm.
price latch A and B are components. And that gives me my bare bones layout as well as the and or because that does come up, from time to time. And so it's good to just have it there in case it's needed. Okay, so from there, my typical starting point is I go to YouTube and I just look up trading strategies and I find a video. And it doesn't necessarily, it's not something you necessarily have to do that way. If you have a strategy, then you can just skip that step. So, let's jump over here. And sorry, I have a dark to light screen now, and so you're probably blinded. But Chat GPT is my friend. I have the paid version of it. I think it's, I don't know, $19 a month or something.
Mm.
Yeah.
But I use it for tons and tons and tons of stuff, not just this particular thing. And so, whether or not you want the paid version or not, totally up to you.
Mm.
You can decide, whether or not that is worth it. Let me show you kind of how this can augment this whole process. So, real quick, Jerry, just give me a strategy. What do you think? It can be the same
Um,
one that Reg just built.
well, I'll tell you the one I use right now. It's
Okay, go
the
for it.
it's the main AOF indicator, the up, what is it? Up something. The main one, that upright indicator,
Oh yeah, yeah, the Academy of Forex upright.
right, right. And
Hmm.
then I use the probability Z,
Yeah, the
uh
Z score. Hmm.
yeah, Z score. Yeah. That
Okay,
that
that one's a little bit more complex.
mm,
Let's go with a more kind of a basic strategy off the top of your head. Like,
mm,
um, come up
um
come up with something for us.
okay. Um let's see. I would uh
Even if you know it's not a great strategy, just for shits and giggles.
It
okay.
doesn't have to be profitable.
Okay. I would take the EMA is one I use a lot, so I would take real similar to what we were doing. Like, do you want thing like MACD, RSI like that, or do you want
It's
just?
totally up to you.
Mm,
What are you thinking?
I'm thinking the EMA 9 and yeah, EMA 9 when price crosses above EMA, it could be 9 or whatever, and RSI is into the, I think, 40. So it's above the midline, hits 40, and that is a buy.
So 40. Okay, so let's jump back over here just real quick, just
Or it
so
could
I
be
can.
60 or
Yeah,
65.
you're fine. No problem at all. Let's just pull up an RSI just super fast here. Okay, so we have the 50 marker right here down the center.
Right, right, right.
And so you have a EMA as well. I have a whole ton, dozens of personal indicators, so I have to wade through all those first.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's already set to a 9. And so let's scroll back here to where we were going up instead of way down. Here we go. We're going up here. Okay. And so you said price crossing above the 9
Yeah,
period EMA. Is that
yep.
correct?
Yes, sir. Yes.
And the RSI is doing what?
It would hit the upper band, so I guess it could be, I don't know, 40 or 60.
The upper
65.
band right now is at 70, but it can be at whatever threshold you
Okay.
want.
This off the top of
Uh,
my head. I was watching an indicator that had it at 40, but 70 is fine.
okay, so price is crossing above the 9 period EMA, and the RSI is above the 70.
Right, right.
Is that
So
correct?
yeah,
Let's lower that down a little bit. Let's go ahead and lower that down to say 60. I think will probably give us a little bit better results. I think 70 is a tad bit high. So let's say price is crossing up above the 9 period EMA, and at the same time the RSI needs to be above the 60 level for a long entry trade,
you
correct?
know what I'm thinking though, when I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but when the RSI hits the upper band like that, doesn't that mean it's about to reverse?
See, the RSI is a little bit tricky. The
Mm-hmm.
RSI is pretty deceiving.
Mm-hmm.
So, the RSI, unfortunately, because it's pinned to a specific scale,
Mm-hmm.
doesn't do a wonderful job at truly determining the ultimate highs and lows of the market. And so,
Is it mainly used for momentum?
yes, momentum is a good way to look at it.
Mm-hmm.
There is often you see that the RSI will breach a certain level, say the 60 level,
Right,
and
right.
price will continue to go up for a significant period of time
Mm-hmm.
before it finally starts to reverse. And often the easiest way to see or to use the RSI in a reversal type strategy is going to look for a divergence.
Mm-hmm.
And even divergence doesn't do an extremely good job of catching reversals. But, like, for example, you can see right here that we have this divergence in the RSI compared to the divergence of what price is doing right here. So
Right.
you see price is making a higher high right here,
Mm-hmm.
but the RSI is actually making a lower high right
Right,
here.
right.
And so you do see that it does get a correction, but most likely what it does is just off of the top of my head. It looks like it's coming down and bouncing off of the 20 or 21 period exponential average before it then finds momentum to then pop itself back up. Yeah,
You might
comes
want to
down.
change one of those colors.
Yeah, I know I got them kind of mixed together there. And so maybe that's a 40 period.
No, no,
But
change
yeah,
the color. No, I
yeah,
said
yeah,
change the
yeah.
color.
I was just for the sake
Yeah.
of looking at it. So basically what it does is it comes down, finds support at another subsequent EMA and then bounces off of it and then
Right,
continues up. You can see that it continues to travel a
right,
long distance, right? While the RSI is showing that it should be reversing. And
right,
so but again, that's neither here nor there. Again, we're just playing around with a strategy at the moment. So uh often dirty little trick is to use the RSI as a momentum indicator versus using it as a reversal indicator. So in this particular case, again, what we're going to say is we are going to say that when price is crossing up above the 9 period EMA and the RSI is above the 60 level. We're looking for a long trade entry, right?
right,
And what we're going to say is that when price is crossing down below the 9 period EMA and the RSI is below the 40 level, then
hmm
that's going to be a short trade entry. Okay.
right.
What I'm going to do now is I'm going to jump over here to our friend ChatGPT and I'm going to dictate to it here. Write me a Pine script code that has a 9 period EMA and an RSI. When the price crosses up above the 9 period EMA and the RSI is above the 60 level, that will be a long trade entry. And I want you to plot a green up triangle. And when the price crosses down below the 9-period EMA and the RSI is below the 40 level, that's going to be a short entry. And I want you to plot a down uh, red triangle. There we go. And you can just double check that everything's here, but it does a pretty good job of catching voice. And now I'm going to let it go here. And our friend ChatGPT here is going to think about this for just a moment here.
Have you ever had it say Pine script with Pyne?
Oh, I don't know. I've not that
It's done
I've
that to me a few times.
really interesting. Okay, so now it says, here you go, clean and simple code. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this code right here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to jump back over to our screen that we were on here. I'm going to go down here into the corner. I'm going to go to Pine Editor. I'm going to click it, and it's going to bring up this here. It's probably something I was playing with last. I'm going to click this little down arrow right here. I'm going to go create new indicator. Click that. And now what I'm going to do is look back at our Pine script code here. You can see that it starts at the version 6 notation right here at the top. So when we jump back over into our indicator, our new indicator, we want to delete all this. So just highlight it. And then, hey, we had someone else jump on a little bit late.
Yeah.
Um, Highlight all that, and then just go ahead and we're going to paste that code that ChatGPT gave us. You can rename it here, whatever you want to name it. This is the name of the indicator right here next to it. Again, put in there whatever you wish. What I'm going to do is I'm going to save it. It's going to ask me what my name wants to be right here. I'm just going to save, and I'm going to add to chart. Then I'm going to minimize that little screen right there. And now I'm going to go here and I'm going to look at what ChatGPT has given me. And I'm going to see if the logic that I gave it lines up with what it has given me here. Sometimes it's a little bit tricky because sometimes it looks like things are lining up or should be lining up, and they're really not quite accurate. Sometimes ChatGPT does weird stuff, and then sometimes it's just slightly off. Again, this is where that kind of human element comes into it. Again, like we were talking about before, because to me, right, if I was just to glance at this and not really look at the numbers, I'd say, hey, this looks right here like price crossed up above that 9-period EMA right here.
Right.
And
Yep.
price is above that threshold that we want on the RSI. Why did it not give me a signal? But I guarantee that if you actually look at the price opening in relation to the RSI position, it didn't actually make a cross right here.
Right. Right.
Makes sense. And so what we can do is we can actually dig into the inputs here and we can say, okay, what did ChatGPT give us here? So it gave us an input here. And what it did was it allowed us to modify the EMA length. So now you can see as I drag the EMA length up and down, you can see now it's giving us more signals. And that's because you're actually getting real crosses of the EMA right here.
Right.
Whereas before we weren't. So we're going to say, okay, cool. Now we got some decent signals. On a 9-period, it was a little slow. We weren't getting a lot of crosses. Let's just go ahead and leave it at a 7-period for now. And what we're going to do is just go ahead and delete the original EMA from the screen because it already has given us one here. So now I have signals, right? Now what I want to do is I want to attach these signals to Nexus. So I go to Nexus, I go right here. Again, everything's already set up the way I generally use it. I go to my entries right here. I go to here, and what I'm looking for now is the EMA 9 plus RSI entry signals here. And I'm looking for where it gave me long entry and short entry. Often it duplicates these, and you can use either or. You can go in and you can kind of code it out, but it's not necessary. It's just one of those weird ticks that ChatGPT has. And this is kind of the downfall of using ChatGPT is that it does make mistakes. And so just keep that in mind. So we want a long entry here because that's our long, and we want a short entry here because that's our short. And I already have it set up to use the last swing high and low as my exit point. I think I do. I might have it set up with the ATR. Anyway, so we attached it to Nexus now, and here are the results of what we have. We have a 24% win rate. We have 250 bars looked back there. We're on a 1 minute time frame, so it's a pretty quick time frame.
Hmm.
And so it's no surprise that it's not doing that wonderful. But now the process, and here's kind of where the magic comes in, my process of playing around with things. Keep in mind that Nexus is good at finding the correct results to get the most you can out of a strategy, but also keep in mind that it uh, works on a double-edged sword, right? If you tweak things too finely, you will overfit a strategy and you'll curve fit it. And that
Mm.
basically means that all you're doing is you are making it profitable for the last, in this instance, 21 days.
Mm.
And going forward, the uncertainty of the market, and as it does something slightly different, is most likely going to kill the strategy, which is why we put strategies in forward test to get an accurate idea of what it does in real time market
Mm.
going forward versus fitting it for back information. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, the next thing you need to understand is that there's kind of this, I wouldn't say theory as much as a um, a realization by people within this industry that um, a strategy doesn't necessarily have to be the best part of a strategy doesn't have to be the entries. There is a really interesting video, and I actually sent it out to everybody on Discord in our little group not too long ago. There's this really interesting video where this guy used a random number generator to basically flip a coin to determine whether he was going to go short or long at any point in time. And
Mm.
he used management of his positions to make it profitable. And so, regardless of whether or not the coin flip told him to go long or short at any given point in time in the market, his entries didn't matter. What mattered was how he managed the position and his overall profit and loss combined and some other aspects. And so what that means is that instead of concentrating more on getting exact entries, you should concentrate more on managing your positions once you are in them in the most economical way. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so here comes the way I do things. I don't dig into playing around with the settings of EMAs and the RSI and doing this and that. You can do that. Don't get me wrong. You can absolutely do that. But let's see if we can't take this strategy right here and turn it into a profitable strategy, okay? First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and I'm going to turn off, if I haven't already, I'm gonna turn off. Okay, so it is actually already bypassing my um um last swing points as far as the entry or the exit, I'm sorry. What we're using as an exit right now is going to be the ATR. So we have it set to an ATR length of one. The ATR length is 100, but set to a multiplier of one. And right now we're running a risk to reward of 1 to 3. And so a little bit high risk to reward at the moment. But what this is telling me right now is what I'm looking at is a 24% win rate, right? So now that tells me what happens if I just reverse this logic? right?
Mm,
If I have a
mm.
24% win rate in theory, right?
Right,
If
right.
I just say instead of going long, go short when I should be going long, and instead of going short, go long instead. Now
Mm.
let's just see what that does.
Well, that's interesting.
Nexus is spinning its wheels here. Give it just a moment. And just like that, we have now a profitable strategy. And
Mm.
so you see now we have a 27% win rate. So it was right at the same win rate. But just because I reversed the logic of
Wow.
how it was entering, it has
Mm-hmm.
now established a profitable strategy. And now what I can do is I can go in and I can say, okay, I have profitability. Let's play around with my position management a little bit. I know that I have a multiplier of one with an ATR of 100. That's okay. That's usually pretty standard. I usually keep it about that. I don't play with that a whole lot. But what I do is I start playing around with my risk to reward ratio. So what I'm doing is I'm bumping it down by one and clicking over here. And what it's doing is it will load all these in Nexus in the background. And
Mm.
so what it's doing is every single one of those settings, Nexus is calculating and it's caching those settings. So here in just a moment, it's going to give me the risk to reward of 1 to 1.5 numbers. And we'll
Mm-hmm.
take a look at that. And now you see that we've tanked. So we've lost profitability. I'm going to start scrolling it up by one now. And you'll see that these numbers change a lot quicker. You can see now we're getting number changes relatively fast compared to what they were just a moment ago.
Mm.
And we'll just keep rolling it up here. And it looks like we're getting closer to profitability. Not quite. So we're at back up to the 1 to 3 risk to reward. And just for the fun, let's roll it up higher. Same deal. I'm just upping it by one and clicking over here on the side panel each time I do that. And what it's doing is it's just calculating those in the background and it is just caching them. And so
Mm.
that way it goes faster because
Right.
Nexus is a little bit, what did it just do there? So it just
That's
crashed out
probably a
on me.
time.
Probably did
That's
a
probably a
timeout.
timeout.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
did a timeout.
Runtime. No, that said
Yeah.
runtime. That's different.
Yeah, that was a runtime.
I've never seen runtime. Let's see what it says. We might have to.
Um,
We might have just found something we don't know about. Just click
yeah.
on
Mm-hmm.
that. Oh, it is just timeout. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what I'm doing is I saved the strategy up here. Again, I probably shouldn't have done this on my blank cloud. I should have made a copy. But nonetheless, I saved it right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to refresh my screen here.
Oh, you didn't have to refresh the screen for a timeout error.
Oh, really? Oh, that's right. You
Yeah.
can click that. You can do that
You
one,
just change a setting and it'll
just a setting,
recalculate
and
anyway.
it'll
Yeah.
recalculate. Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember now. I'm so used to just saving and refreshing.
There's a trading view bug in there, Jerry, that
Mm.
sometimes it just never stops calculating, and the only thing you can do is save the layout and hit refresh. That's
Hmm.
nothing we can control. But today it doesn't seem to be happening, which is nice because this is
No, yeah, it's going pretty quick. All right, now here, check it out, Jerry. There we go. Look
Mm.
at that. Now we have a
Wow.
total profit per week of $2,000.
We like
This is
that.
on the 1 minute time frame. We have a
Mm.
risk to reward here of 3.54 is the average risk to reward. We could crank this a little bit higher, but I have a feeling the higher we go, the more we're going to curve fit this. And so I wouldn't push it much further than this. But you can
Mm.
see how within what we took less than 5 minutes, we came up with an idea. We threw it into Chat GPT. We told it what we wanted it to do. It spit out those results. We put it into Nexus, we put it into reality, and we figured out that, again, our human idea was not a good one, right?
Right, right,
What we see in our eye, what we perceive as trading, the way the industry tells us, right, was not good, right? It
right,
said
right.
everything said, oh, this should be great. We have a cross above a short-term EMA. It's showing us that we have strength to the upside. It has an RSI that is crossing with momentum above a certain threshold. You know, these are all the things that you hear these gurus on YouTube and anywhere else all day long tell you that, man, this is the perfect strategy that will make you tons and tons
Right,
and tons
right.
of money. And what did we do, Jerry? We
Yeah,
reversed the
reversed it.
logic.
That's
What
right.
what does the market makers do? They take
Yeah,
everything that your average retail trader does and they do the opposite. They
right,
wait
right.
for you to do something predictable and they take the opposite side. So basically we just became the market maker in this
Wow.
scenario, right? And
It's
all
like,
we did was we took something very simple, a very simple strategy, and we applied very strict money management and position management rules to it to turn
mm,
it into a profitable strategy. And this is what I do 99.9% of every single strategy that I test every single day on my videos.
wow.
You
It's
just
like
saw the
it's
magic, you saw the Wizard of Oz behind the curtain right there.
yeah,
That's how I
it's
do
So,
it.
mind
so
blowing.
now
Yeah, I
just for
mean,
fun, I want to show a couple of, I want to, can you click on the Nexus settings for a minute there? There's
Hmm.
something I wanted to show when I was doing it. I might as well do it on this one. And scroll down to, where we can turn the strategy tester on and off down about halfway down or something. Can't remember what the section's called.
The
It's
uh
it's it's after exits. So
going
it's pretty
into
fun.
the forward test.
Well, it's way after this because you're not even in the exit section yet. You're going to go test with no past entry, past exit, and then it might be the next section. I'm not sure. So after this, let's see what the next section is. Okay, next one. Yeah, it's here, profit and loss graphic. Just check show visualized. I'd like to show this.
Right here.
Yeah, this is a really good way of checking your thing. You know how to open that up, right? It's
Mhm.
so yeah. So this is actually pretty interesting. I don't know if you need to click on oh,
There
there
it
it
is.
is. So he's going to squeeze this up so you can see the whole curve. And
mm,
this is actually a really good way to test to get a visual of the shape of the curve. Because something like this can tell you whether what you're doing is likely to be profitable ongoing. And what I'm seeing here is it got a lot of traction at the beginning, and then it just kind of went flat.
Now keep in mind that
And
we're on a 1 minute time frame and only 22 days back.
yeah,
And so
but
that's not a lot of data going back. Like, so just, bear in mind when you're looking at a strategy like this, especially on a very low time frame, that
yeah,
when you look at, an equity curve like this, that something like this uh, probably isn't that abnormal, but also it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to continue to be a profitable strategy in the long run. And that's why we would then set it to a forward test to
yeah,
then watch it in real time over, say, a week's period of time. It's taking trades every 1.5 hours, which means
mm,
that by the time you get through 1 week of forward testing, you're going to know whether or not this is a profitable strategy or not,
yeah.
mm,
right?
On the other
Over.
hand, the as you go up in time frames, trading views will give you data that goes back further in time.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And what will happen is eventually you'll get on a time frame high enough where the data goes back more than a year. At
Yes.
that point, you can be a little more confident in the curve.
Yeah.
I still would not do it without forward testing, but
Hmm.
you can be, oh, hey, keep this one.
Yeah. This 5 minute time frame. We're gonna call this one
This should go.
Jerry's strategy.
I think this one should go in our list, man. Don't
Right?
lose this.
Yeah. And that's a 5 minute time frame there. So we're looking back 3 months. So now that's establishing more confidence, right? We lost a little
Right.
bit per week. It went from about $2,000 per week. I think it was 1,800 down to about 1,100, right? But I mean, I would take $1,100, per
Absolutely.
week. And the thing is, like the initial account size set in Nexus is very conservative.
Mm,
It's not like we're starting out with $200,000 account value or
right.
anything like that. Like we have this, and we're accounting for spread. We're accounting for all these things that are really hard to account for in manual back testing, and that a whole lot of other people testing strategies on YouTube and stuff do not account for. And so, but yeah, I mean, and then again, this is the next easiest thing right here is to just roll through your time frames, right? Go from a 1 minute to a 5 minute to a 10 minute to a 15 to a 30. I probably wouldn't go above. And look, see, it's still
That's
holding.
actually
Look at
looking
that
really
equity curve
nice.
right there. That's a 10 minute
Oh,
right there. That's 6 months back, and we're
Right,
right at
Ryan,
the
put this in the
same.
spreadsheet when you're done.
Okay. We're right at the same amount per week as we was on a 5 minute time frame with a
wow.
really nice equity curve. Look at that,
Yeah.
right?
See, now the equity curve actually looks like something that you'd want to follow, right?
Yes. Yep. And that's why I was saying, like on a 1 minute time frame, it's expected to see those weird kind of blips where it takes off, kind of does something weird for a little while, then might take off again. Really, what you don't want though is you don't want hard spikes up, hard spikes down, hard spikes up, hard spikes down. That means that that's probably not going to do very good, right?
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, you can see here that, like I said, literally in just a couple of minutes, I took a very simple strategy. I fed it into Chat GPT. You can get more complex, but keep in mind, the more complex you go, it's going to struggle. I've done it for so long now that I found workarounds to make it work. But all in all, Chat GPT does a pretty fairly decent job. But the thing is, like, another issue that people have, and I see this all the time, is they overcomplicate a strategy. Like, I
Hmm.
mean, that's just the bottom line. I've been
Yeah.
able to take every single strategy that I have tested so far over, what are we at now? Almost 40 strategies now. We're at 37 strategies, and I'm about to do a video on this one right here when we get off the call here for tomorrow. This one I was able to make profitable just like all the other 37 strategies by just doing very basic flips of the logic and doing position management. That's all it is. Like there's nothing, I don't go in and I don't play with the settings. I don't start tweaking stuff and flicking stuff up and down and doing this and that. I don't do it because it's not necessary. It's only adding an extra layer of uncertainty that again can lead you into just overfitting a strategy. And so we have some pretty basic settings right here, right now on this that we didn't set and tweak to death. And we just gave it good money management and made sure that the entries were sound. They may not make much sense to our retail trading minds, but they're sound entries nonetheless, right?
Nice.
And we turned it into a profitable strategy. And the funny part is, it only has a 27% win rate, right?
Mm.
Now, if you are manually trading this, you might very well lose your mind, right?
Right,
Because
right.
you're taking 215 losing trades to every 82 winning trades. And I don't know a lot of people who have the psychology, the mental fortitude to continue to just take losing trade after losing trade after
Right.
losing trade and not get so frustrated that they make a dumb mistake. And again, back to the very beginning of my statements here, that's the human element that we seek to remove from the situation by creating strategies like this, ran through Nexus, that we can then automate, that we can just set and forget. Look at it maybe once a day. And if it's taken 5 losing trades and 3 winning trades and has a profitable P&L for the day, great. If it's a little bit negative, whatever. We know in the
Right.
long term that all signs point to this being a profitable strategy, right? And so we can just set it and forget it and just let it go, right?
Oh.
And check it every couple of days or once a day. And if it starts to take a really nasty tank, something abnormal from these numbers, then just stop it, right? Just
Hmm.
turn it off and say, okay, maybe we need to find another strategy. Maybe we need to give this one a week or so and then turn it back on. Maybe I need to play with, a little bit of my money management, who knows, right? But the point is, the misconception that people have is that you need a 60% win rate. No
Right.
offense to you, because one of the first things you said was, hey, that strategy that you tested that had, $4,000 was a 60% win rate, right?
Right. Right.
These are things that have been beat into our head by the retail trading community who says,
Right.
oh, you need a 70% win rate. You need an 80% win rate. Like,
Mm-hmm.
we just assume that those high numbers lead to profitability, and that just isn't the case. The
Right.
case is
Right.
that you can have a very low win rate with very good risk reward and position management, and you can be a very profitable trader.
Mm.
That's the reality of it. And we did all this, like I said, within a few moments using ChatGPT to code a very simple strategy that we plugged into Nexus. And within 2 or 3 minutes, we played with a few settings and got to this very fine looking equity curve right here on this strategy,
Yeah.
right?
Just so you know, Jerry, I would recommend you use the components, not ChatGPT, to start
Yeah.
with.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, you
Right.
see, like this strategy was so very simple that
Right.
using ChatGPT may be the quicker way to go. You know,
Mm-hmm.
if you were
Yeah.
to build a more complex strategy where you're doing, multiple EMA crosses and you want things to this and you want things to that, ChatGPT is going to struggle with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be challenging to keep up with it, and so it's not to deter people from making more complex strategies, because there is a place where that is, where those live that can be useful, uh,
Mm-hmm.
but it's also true to the fact that very simple strategies can be profitable and you can knock them out in seconds using tools at your advantage like Nexus.
Mm-hmm.
That before, if you were to test this over 300 trades and we ran through um, what did we go from 1.5
So
up
what, 3.5?
to, I think we're at 4 right now. I think is what we're at, maybe. Where were we at? Scroll too fast through all this. To 4, right? So we
Wow.
went
And
to how many changes is
four
that?
four steps per. So see, three, two, one, uh, about 10.
About 10 different steps. And so you consider that we did that over 300. That's 3,000 trades that you would have had
Wow.
to have tested by hand, right? And I can tell you from experience that that would take you days to
Mm.
accomplish what we did in literally minutes. And so that's the power of using a system like this. And then we have safety nets in place that we then forward test it to make sure that we're not just jumping in, blindly into something
Right.
that
Right.
may be a little overfitted. But yeah, I mean, that's the sales pitch. I mean, I don't even have to really sell it because you have access to it for free. And so it's not like
Right.
we're trying to sell you something here. But yeah, I mean, this is what I love to do. When I got my hands on this, like I was like a kid in a candy store. I was just like, ooh. Like, keep
Mm.
in mind, I was going through and testing every single strategy over 50 trades every single day, right?
Oh
And
my
was
gosh.
so limited to the fact that it would take me every bit of 45 minutes to an hour to do those 50 manual trades,
Mm.
right? And I was able to test 300 trades literally in seconds, just just by plugging in a few things into Nexus. And I was just like, "Ooh, this is so much fun." Like,
Mm.
this is so great. And so, yeah, that's
It's incredibly impressive. I mean, it's going to take me a while just to get my mind around all that you can do with this.
mhm.
I
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
can't wait to really dig into it tomorrow and just hopefully contribute something.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you already have. I mean, you
Yeah.
made this strategy. Like, you're the one who came up with it. Like, we put it into the world, and right there, you got yourself your first profitable strategy through Nexus just that fast,
Uh,
with a little bit of help from us showing you how to
right.
make a few tweaks to the position management and the money management side of it, and you go bingo.
It's funny. I was just thinking, what have I done in my life to be at this point and to be, I mean, to me, this is a blessing. but just to be part of this, been exposed to it, it's like it's great. It's something wonderful. I can't wait to try.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we see the value. We understand the value. I mean,
Right.
we may be biased because obviously Reg built it and spent literally months and months and months, like every single day, 10, 12 hours a day. Like
Mm.
he's been an just astronomical amount of time building all these
Uh,
components in the Nexus system and ripping it apart from the original version when we first met and building it up from scratch. And so, of course, he's going to have some bias towards it. And I'm going to be a little biased as well because, I feel like, I've contributed and helped helped just, kind of consult on things along
sure.
the way and stuff like that. But it's hard to show people what kind of value this has. And so I try to explain it in my videos. Um, but I think it's one of those things where it is so complex. It is so kind of hard to wrap your brain around in the very
Right.
beginning that a lot of people are just kind of like in one ear out the other, type of thing.
Zach, I
Um,
really had no true real idea what this was. I kind of had a rough idea, but now, it just I don't see
It makes
it.
sense.
It makes sense, and like people not being in here really missed out because would have had no idea.
yeah, I'm
Like
surprised more people didn't chime in,
I
honestly.
know, me
Like,
too.
Well, we'll
and
see what
so,
happens when we put the video. I mean, we've got this recorded. In fact, we could probably stop the recording now. I don't think there's any
oh,
more
true, true.
value.
Yeah, we showed all